Hello, hello. Come on in, come on in. We are live on the tube. This is your host, Madem-Oiselle. Welcome to the reveal, the Saga Reveal. Aha. Hey, please hit the like button, subscribe for notifications, share with others. I got some interesting things today. Saga Lovers. So we are live. Let's chat and gab. What is going on? It's going on. I'm going to double check we are on here. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Let's see. I think we are fine. We should be perfectly fine. Oh, yeah, my speaker is loud. Let's see here. We're good. We're good. Yeah. Perfect. All right. I got the fun transcripts, but let's start with the review from Core TV. I think Core TV has a decent summary. So let's share Core TV. Perfect. So here we are in Core TV. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is facing a 15 years in prison if convicted of all the charges at his federal traffic trial. So, of course, he has pleaded not guilty, right, guys? So, here we are. Today's update from Court TV. Amen. So, Combs here, let me see if I can do this. We're going to zoom it in and zoom it in. Okay, we got it here. A little bit better. Yeah. Much better for the screen. Perfect. So Combs' former personal assistant, David James, returned to the stand to continue his direct examination, testifying about his responsibility as a personal assistant. Those responsibilities basically included advance or prepping hotel rooms for Mr. Combs through, though he did not use the words, here we are, F off. James described entering a hotel room and seeing Cassie on the bed, seemingly unconscious, and some and naked men scoring away. Okay. So James said he decided to quit his job in 2009 after the Mel's dinner incident, saying he realized being a personal assistant of Combs meant putting his life in danger. Ho, ho, ho. He ran away from the enterprise. James said he drove Combs armed with 3 handguns and his security guard to confront Suge Knight at the Mel's dinner after the security guard spotted Suge there and saw someone pass him a G gun. On cross, this is all in court today. James agreed he never told the government about driving Combs to Mel's because the government interrupted him while he was relaying his account and told him not to say anything that would incriminate him. Good advice. Sharee Hayes, an exotic dancer known as the Punisher, testified that Combs and Cassie brought him into the world of F off. Hayes recalled seeing bottles of baby oils in bowls of waters and getting handed a stack of 800 in cash. Cassie's Ventura mother was also here today, Miss Regina Ventura, testifying that Combs demanded 20,000 from her and threatened to release explicit S-tapes when he became angry. She was dating someone else. Into jealousy. Regina and extortion. Alleged Regina said she felt physically sick when she received the email from Combs. At the time, Casey was dating rapper Kid Cudi. Apparently, he's coming to court tomorrow, guys. FYI, we'll be here tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Every day now, because I got the transcript from Inner Rest. Here we go. So Regina said she and her husband took out a home equity loan to pay Combs' demand, I say. I was scared for my daughter's safety, she said. Days later, she said the money was returned. Poof. Special Agent Gerard Gannon of Homeland Security Investigation and showed juror he was here today parts of 2 AR-15 rifle agent found last year while searching Combs' mansion, Star Island. Alrighty. We also have here, let's go with Court TV before testimony the 19th here. They resumed the Monday. Okay, actually here, let's go. Was Don Richards. Actually, we're gonna read that later on my other transcript. So now let's go to boop, boop, boop. Here we got the Diddy trial week 1 resume kind of guys. So attorney for the USA district, he woke an employee to drive to the house, but no one was there. The defendant didn't give up. He kept looking for Cassie. When he found her, oh, hold on, let's go back here. Let's go. First day of trial. Here we are. First day of trial. It started like this. Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson. This is Sean Combs. To the public, he was a cultural icon, a businessman larger than life. But there was another side to him. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me do this quickly before I forget. It is going to be. Just a minute. Alrighty. Alrighty. So, but there was another side to him. You will hear this is the opening statement from the U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson. You will hear about 20 years of the defendant's crime. He had a team to help him: kidnapping, arson, D word, and S crimes. I'm going to use those words because we're on YouTube, right? I don't want to get censored or, shut down, guys. So, here. Alrighty. Mrs. The Assistant U.S. Attorney, let's start with one night. He was on the hunt for his girlfriend, Cassie. He forced her to have S with a male escort while he watched and recorded. He found out Cassie was seeing another man. Furious, he set out to find Cassie and another man. Sorry, guys, here. The assistant to the U.S. attorney, he woke an employee to drive to the house, but no one was there. The defendant didn't give up. He kept looking for Cassie. When he found her, he beat her brutally, kicking her in the back and flinging her around with like a rag doll, but wasn't enough. But it wasn't enough. He told Cassie he could release a video of her as with male escorts. He broke into a man's house and he beat and blackmailed his girlfriend. These are not only crimes. Cassie is not the only woman he beat and exploited. 20 years of crimes, Assistant USA Attorney saying he had a business, Bad Boy Records. That made him right. He relied on his bodyguards, chief of staff, who ran all the aspects of his life. The group promoted his power. His bodyguards kidnapped kidnapped an employee and set a car on fire, dangled a person. Oh, I think we know these little blanks. The assistant U.S. attorney says they delivered drugs whenever he said, including to women. He forced to have escorts. He transported them across state lines and even out of the country. Oh, let me be very clear. This case is not about a celebrity's private preferences. Assistant U.S. Attorney, this was a criminal. He coerced and even used violence along of this trial. Will focus on two women, Casey and Jean, We will show that the defendant used, lied, that, that the defendant used lied, drugs, threats, and violence to force them to have sex with him in front of male escorts. Assistant U.S. attorneys going through the opening statement, he called them F off, wild king nights or hotel nights. His staff organized flights, cars, and hotels at his direction. His staff set up the room with lubricant and lightning. Staff came in with cash to pay the escorts and drugs. Assistant U.S. Attorney continues on. He made them take MDMA or Molly and ecstasy. It made them sick, but also sexually aroused. He directed every step. He expected the women to appear to enjoy themselves. He masturbated and recorded the event. Cassie was 19 with a hit song. Assistant U.S. Attorney goes on. Cassie tried to work on her music, but the defendant made her turn down many opportunities. She recorded, but he made the final say over the music she released. Was never the music, sorry, over the music she released. There was never another album. He hit Cassie in the head and dragged her by the hair. Assistant U.S. Attorney. He stomped on Cassie's face in an SUV, then made her stay in a hotel for a week to hide her injury. He set up F-offs and often as once a week. She spent half of her time doing that. The defendant made an escort you in her mouth. Assistant U.S. Attorney continues on in the opening statement. As you will see in this trial, he beat her in the hallway of a hotel to drag her back into the freak off. Initially, she wanted to make him happy, but then she didn't want to. But the defendant made her. The consequences were severe. Assistant U.S. District Attorney, he beat her when he thought she took too long in the bathroom. Defying him would end in violence. She fled, but he found her. With the help of her inner circle, Cassie's career was in her hand. I think he meant in his hand, but he told her he could destroy her career by releasing video. ASA's U.S. Attorney says when she said to have a F off, when he said to have a F off, she knew she had no choice. She called the escort and put on the performance he wanted. Her safety depended on keeping him happy. Their relationship was complicated. Both were unfaithful, but only one of them had power. Assistant U.S. Attorney, he made Cassie do his bidding in those dark hotel rooms. Cassie was not the only one. This was a pattern. Let me tell you about Jane. She was a single mom that started spending time with him in 2020. She fell in love with him. She was seeing other women. Assistant U.S. Attorney. One night he told Jane about F off and made it happen immediately. He took her to a hotel where an escort was on the way. He directed her step by step. Jane thought it was one time, wild a night. She was wrong. He continued, offering a real relationship. Assistant U.S. District Attorney says Jane wanted the escort to wear condoms, but the defendant did not let them. Pooh. Jane tried through to make it through these nights without drugs. The first time she broke down and took ecstasy to finish. Another time she vomited, but he said, "Go do it again." Assistant U.S. Attorney Jean found two men and invited them to join the freak offs so she could choose the man she'd be intimate with. The defendant discouraged her from working. He had the power to coerce her back in the hotel room. He threatened her with the videos. A USC attorney, assistant USC attorney, not even a year ago, he went to her house. She was angry. She hit him. He became enraged. She tried to hide. She locked herself in her bedroom. He kicked it open. Then the bathroom, the closet, the guest room. He kicked her to the ground. Assistant USA, he did not let Jane be, he said. "You're not going to F up my night," he said. "Call up an escort and perform." Jane followed his instruction. His violence got him what he wanted. Cassie will tell you about the time the defendant forced himself on her. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maya, an employee, will tell you how the defendant forced himself on her, hand up her dress, something here. Amidst all this violence, he and his inner circle worked to cover up his crimes. The video at the LA hotel, you will hear just how far this went. U.S. defendant of the USC attorney, the defendant offered a hotel security guard a weight of cash, a brown paper bag with 100,000 in 100 bills. The inner circle kept Cassie in hiding for days. For all of this, he is charged with multiple federal crime, racketeering, and conspiracy. Here. My bad. Yeah. Uh, all right, so damage, you will see the four of them, including, okay, you will see the videos of, here, my bad. I think it's here, we were back. What did I miss here? You will also hear from the Oscar defendant directed the film. I missed something. Okay, yeah, the 100 bills here. You will hear from some of the defendant's employee, including his personal assistant Maya, who he has assaulted. She is grappling with it. Also, assistant U.S. attorney. You will hear from the employee he forced into a SUV with a gun, and from a chef. They worked punishing hours, at times without sleep. They bought drugs from him. They were expected to keep quiet. Some of these witnesses have already received settlements. Assistant U.S. Attorney says you will also hear from some of the escorts that the defendant directed then and filmed it. An escort saw the defendant assault Cassie and drag her by her face during a F off. You will see records from hotels and the damages and car services. Assistant U.S. Attorney, you will see text messages in which the defendant tells staff to bring cash for escorts. And by Jane saying she did not want to do F offs, you will see videos in them. You can hear the defendants provide direction to Cassie and Jane high on ecstasy. You will see a video of the defendant brutally beating Cassie during F off at the hotel. You will see photo of damage, including four doors in Jane's home not even a year ago. You will see what he had in his home: guns, med bags of drugs, loops. Assistant U.S. Attorney says you will see the agreement with the hotel guard barring him from speaking after he paid 100,000 for the video. You will hear him manipulate Jane into saying she wanted it. His threats not to pay for her home, texts to his staff about it. Assistant U.S. Attorney, I asked you to do three things: pay attention to the evidence, follow the judge's instruction on the law, use your common sense, and you will reach the verdict that Sean Combs is guilty. Judge, who for the defense? Teeny Gregos, I will. Teeny Gregos, this case is about love. Boo. Sorry, guys. And jealousy and money. Yeah, for sure. And power and money and power and jealousy and love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could put money, jealousy, love. Different order. Sorry, guys. They are trying to turn it into a racketeering case. It will not work. You are the jury. You will evaluate the witness, and finally, the story the story can come out. This isn't about what you heard on the news. Teeny Gray goes. Sean Combs is fascinating. He grew up in Harlem and built a lawful business. Ooh, but that's what we're trying to find out. He worked for it. Well, yeah. Others do. He created a culture and produced music that changed a generation. Witnesses will share with you that he is a fascinating person, and people are drawn to him. Not me. Teeny Gray goes, if you want to climb in music apparel or beverages, you want to be around Sean Combs. Well, guess who's got a deal with some, is it whiskey? His bodyguard, old bodyguard, good bodyguard before all of this disastrous and hidden stuff. Yeah, Gene Deal got a nice contract. Oh boy, for whiskey, I think it's, or is it, I'm trying to think here. Whiskey? Anyways, so you wanted to be around Sean Combs. He gave people opportunities to work at his company. He had a vision that few had. Yeah. The witnesses mostly loved him. The text messages will show that. Tini Gregos says, this is the defense opening statement. He is 55-year old. He is going, he is going be Sean Combs. I am Tini Gregos. He is Sean Combs. Yeah, I am honored to represent him. The only people in this court who will tell you about racketeering are the prosecutors. There is no conspiracy. Teeny says, this case is about Sean Combs' private life. Yeah, not really. It's not about that. The government has no business in it. Yeah, we don't want to know anything about it either. But yeah, it became a business. These hardworking individuals were educated from Harvard to Howard University. So he has a temper and got violent. He is not proud of that. We own it. We own it. Oh, he's so bad. We own that side. Yeah, right. He's not owning shit. And that says too much for us. Teeny says she's trying to save the day. Uh, he sometimes gets so jealous or angry, he is out of control. Like, that's an excuse. You will hear he lied to his girlfriends. You make think he is a jerk or mean, but he's not tried for that. He's tried for running a racketeering enterprise. Yeah, we know. Tell us more. This is domestic violence. There you go. We're done with her. She called it domestic. Well, well, well. Assistant U.S. Attorney, domestic violence is not trafficking. Had he been charged with domestic violence, oh, sorry. Yeah, that's what she's saying. It's teeny. Sorry, there's a mistake up there. Teeny. Domestic violence is not as trafficking. Had he been charged with domestic violence, he would not be submitting through an 8 week. Yeah, we know. You're the one who don't know. Girl, move along. He's not guilty of these crimes as of yet. At as the trial goes on, we are going to make on accountability. We will not shy away. Teeny says Sean Combs had a bit of a different life. He alleged victims were all getting something from him. They are adults. They too must take on responsibility for their lives, as he does for his. A free choice has pros and cons, she said. We know, girl. Move along. Tini says you will evaluate these women. They made they made free choices every day for years. Ask yourself, what are all the ways this individual had the what are all the ways this individual had the ability to make these choices? Ask, what is this person getting? Something they want. It may differ. Teeny says jealousy drove choices of the victims. Combs never married. Yeah, we know. We always find it weird. He was a weirdo. But okay, that's just me. But he is a many woman man. He is always in multiple relationship. He's not always honest. It drove a primal jealousy. Sean Combs is extremely jealous. For what? If he wants to have many, he should be jealous. You may think it's hypocritical. We do. Teeny keeps at it. They remained in multi-year relationship with him. These women were in love with him, she says. Infidelity and jealousy drove the violence. Alcohol and drugs drove things. But he is not racketeer, she said. This case is about his relationship with Cassie and Jane. No, no, no. It's more than that, girl. You will hear about swingers party. They will testify about things you should never be heard in a federal court that he liked to watch. You may not like that, but you are not here to judge him like we know for these S preferences. Teeny, move along. A wealthy rapper for these women's homes and vacation, paid for these women's homes and vacations. He's not charged with being lawful individual, but these women fought to be in a relationship with him. Cassie, I expect you will hear from her this week about her 11-year relationship. Nope, not anymore. She gone. Teeny says Combs was with Kim Porter, the mother of four of his children. He continued with her until her death from pneumonia 2018. He fights with Cassie where were about cheating. It was a toxic relationship. They loved each other. Teeny says Cassie will tell you about the jealousy of Kim, then Gina, the day of the hotel hallway. Jealousy was on display. Violence by the elevator bank 10 years ago. You will see it later today. What Combe did is indefensible. Did she say that? Teeny says again, killing stuff. This the video is not evidence of S trafficking. Cassie walked out of the hotel room with two bags. Combs comes down wearing only a hotel room. He stomped her and dragged her by her hoodie. He came back. She's so comfortable. He comes back around to get her phone. Anyways, Teeny says, what caused a fight about a phone? Phone keeps the secret of infidelity. As soon as he gets the phone, he sits down. He's visibly disgusted. Cassie calls security. You will hear from him later today. The guard tells him to leave the public area. Teeny says, Cassie, you will see Cassie telling him to get back to the hotel room. They stayed together 2 more years after this incident. Even into 2018, they are fighting to stay together. She saw a photo of Combs with Gina. He started with her in 2014. Teeny says Cassie had a choice every single today day to stay with him. That was her better choice until she broke up with him. She was not coerced, but when she left, there were no repercussions. She ran into the arms of a physical trainer Combs had hired to train her. Teeny, the only F off you will see in this trial were on her phone, not his. In November 2018, Cassie Porter passed away from pneumonia. Cassie did everything to be there for him. She flew to Georgia amidst a breakup. She flew to be with him. Teeny says, Combs said, Kim was my soulmate. The end of the relationship between Combs and Cassie was triggered by that. Cassie realized all the things she would not be. She wanted to be Combs' wife, the love of his life. She spent 11 years trying to get at that. To that, Cassie married the trainer and is pregnant with her third trial. Evaluate Combs' intent at the time. For those 11 years, the message will show you that she was a willing participant of their S lives. Cassie's testimony this week can't change that. Well, Teeny in 2020 with Jane Combs was more upfront. He told her he was dating another woman. She was still jealous. Jane wanted it public. He proposed a consensual threesome. They went to a private hotel. I expect her to say she. Teeny adds up a lot. Teeny was desperate to be with him, to give him things other couldn't. She tried to make it more than sexual. I'm not sure how she will pull it, but it always came back to parties in hotel rooms. This was always their time together. Teeny. Jane did not for the cuddle. Jane did it for the cuddle. She wanted to make him happy. She was unable to resist him emotionally. There was a phone call in November 23. Even after it, she flew out to see him many more times. It was toxic, but she was willing. Teeny being a willing participant in your Teeny says, being a willing participant in your S life is not trafficking. Well, no. But if she walked away, she would have lost him. You will see her jealousy. She would see him on social media with another woman and she would send messages of regret. It's not coerced. Teeny says she was driven to try to be in first place. She was the way, this was the way to try to get out, to get there, sorry, to try to get there. This is not a crime. This was, there was nights, there was night a year ago when Jane hit Combs and was, it was born out of jealousy. He hit her back. She was overcome by jealousy. She slammed his head. Teeny, she slammed his head onto a kitchen counter. Months later, she flew to see him and invited an escort. She will call it one of her best night. Wild King Night, whatever you want to call it. This will be hard to watch. They are, in one word, intimate. Teeny says, the government told you about someone named Maya. Why are they making these allegations? You will conclude that everyone has a motive. Maya, she never said it before, nor when she first started cooperating with the government. Teeny, if this was a hostile, if this was so hostile, why did they not call the police? They are vindictives. They are vindictive. Their motives is simple money. Cassie, I thought it was love. First, Cassie filed a public lawsuit in November 2023. She was living in her parents' modest home in Connecticut. She went to a civil lawyer. Tinny, the civil lawyer is here today. They went to civil lawyer to make a money grab, she said. Cassie demanded 30 million. Another asked for 22. How many millions of reasons do these witnesses have to lie? These evidences will not make out the charges. Teeny says on a bribery, this is about the Intercontinental Hotel. He paid a security guard to make the footage go away. This was solely to prevent bad publicity for Combs and for Cassie. This was a no law enforcement investigation. Yeah, but it became. Teeny says the kidnapping related to an employee. She worked for him for 10 years. She asked for she asked to work for him again. Drug trafficking. It was personal use. They worked hard. They were there to do something great and novel. And it was a free choice. Teeny Grego says there was no conspiracy. It was a paying a different man for their time and experience. Porn actors get paid. Hulkamania cowboys for angels. You can pay money for time and an experience. That is what Combs was doing. Teeny, you are not here to impose your morality on this man, she says. You listen, you feel find him not guilty of these crimes. Thank you. You listen, you feel, yeah. Judge would break for lunch. Jury out. Objection to two exhibits in the future. I'd like to hear this the day before. Just with all the stuff gets delayed. We only learned they were objected. This is about the incident report at the hotel. They were trying to delay Brian in the third paragraph, reiterating that he did not want Mr. Combs to see Cassie out in front. He talked about the coworker and this is about to yell that this speculation should not. Okay. Judge Miss Slavic, please pass the exhibition, adjourn, back. The judge, in term of objection, defense, we're still waiting for the defendant. Oh, sorry. Combs is brought in. The exhibit object to the subject of the U.S. Laid the proper foundation of its admissibility. The exhibit here. Judge, all rise. Government ready to call its first witness. First, we enter for exhibits. Agniflo, no. We called LAPD officer Israel. He is sworn. I'm also here we go. Flores. I'm also a reservist for the Army. I was a guard with Securitas in 2016 in the Intercontinental Hotel, Century City. His name is Flores. LAPD officer Israel Flores, I guess. Oh, okay, to bring Flores. Okay. Assistant U.S. Attorney, what happened on March 5th, 2016? Flores says, I was told of the 6th floor. Flores, there. I recognize Sean Combs. He is there wearing a gray sweater. What was your title? Flores says, Assistant Director of Security. Assistant U.S. District Attorney, let me show you a photo of the Intercontinental Flores. It's shaped like a pyramid. And the judge admits the picture. Assistant U.S. Attorney, what kind of incident did you respond to? All kinds. We had a couple of suicides there. Prepared incidents report. The 5th W's. Assistant J, would you attach photos to the report? Flores, yes, but no videos. We did not have the password. Assistant U.S. Attorney, when did the incident take place? 11 a.m. I got a report for a woman in distress on the 6th floor. I closed the security base and checked the cameras. There was an African American man packing back packing back and forth, pacing back and forth. I didn't see a female. I rushed there. Assistant U.S. Attorney, what did you see on the sixth floor? Mr. Combs in a towel and some like colored socks. He's a rapper producer and Cassie on the floor. Let me show you photos. Combs in a tuxedo and a separate photo with Cassie. What did you tell them? That is Flores. That is they were arguing they'd have to take it back to their room and that the broken vase would be charged to the room. Cassie said she wanted her phone and her bag. Mr. Flores, Cassie said she wanted to leave. Mr. Combs said, you're not leaving. I saw inside the room a black male wearing dark clothing. Assistant U.S. Attorney, what did Mr. Combs do after Cassie left? He called for me. He was holding a stack of money. Not to tell anyone. Assistant U.S. Attorney, did you see? What did you say? I said, I don't want your money. The damage is going to be charged to your room. Where did Cassie go? Flores. After I spoke with her, she left. A car pulled up. She left in a black SUV. Assistant U.S. Attorney, was there a driver? Flores, 7 feet. He said she wanted to leave. I said, I'm talking to her, not you. They left. Then what? I went up to Mr. Combs' room to remind him of the hotel rules. He opens the door and grabs the phone and says, are you recording me? I pinned him to the wall. Oh, Flores, I took a photo of the broken vase to tell them to come clean it up. I went to write the incident report. Are you recording? I pinned him to the wall, he said. Oh, hold on. He opens the doors and grabs the phone and says, are you recording him? Oh, we got an altercation there. Okay, Assistant U.S. Attorney, is this it? My report with my name on it. Defense. Same objection noted. And did you review the video? Yes, I'm handing you a thumb drive with the video. Assistant U.S. Attorney says, did it have audio? No. Assistant U.S. Attorney says, let's walk through it. Who is this? Cassie and this Combs. What's happening here? Flora says she picked up the wall phone. Assistant U.S. Attorney says, what did you find when you got there? Flores says, the broken vase. Assistant U.S. Attorney says, what is the end of this video? Flores, me coming out of the elevator. Let's pull up the incident report, the Assistant Attorney says. Flores, here. Remind him that the checkout time was approaching here. We reminded him that the checkout time was approaching. Assistant U.S. Attorney, what did you add to the incident report after you viewed the video? I described what I saw in the video. What else did you do with the video? I recorded 2 videos of it with my phone to show my wife at home. Flores' video of the video with this video over, including about how shiny his shoes were, is a plate for the jury. Did you work the next day? Flores says, no, I had the next 2 days off. When you come back, did you look for the video? I did, but it was gone. Did you ever see it again? Yes, recently. Nothing further. Judge Bermania cross-examination. Combs. Brian still gets up. You said your report was the 5 W's, right? Yeah. Yes. Stills, you mentioned that when you get off the elevator 11, 14, 15, you describe Combs as having a devilish expression of his face. Flores, that's my opinion. Still says, when you get off the elevator, what's in your head? My radio. Mr. Combs did not attack you, did he? No. Still, and was there any law enforcement involved? No. Still says, you videoed for your wife and kept it, right? Yes, I did, he said. Flores. Did he? But never was a law enforcement called. Flores. There were not. Still, you told the jury Mr. Combs said to Cassie, you're not leaving. But your report did not say that, right? Flores. At the point, I did not believe it was a significant impact. I'm not going to put down the back and forth. Stills. So it wasn't important. 9 years ago, but only now. Objection. Assistant U.S. Attorney says, Judge overruled. I did not put it in the report at the time. Still, you said you were offered a bribe, but hadn't you told him he had to pay for the vase? Yes. The gentleman, Mr. Steele, you said you saw in the room. You described to the jury things not in your report. Flores didn't engage. Why didn't you ask him his name? He wasn't talking to no one. Still, did you tell anyone at the time? Flores, no. And the 7-foot driver, do you know who it was? Flores, I don't know. But Cassie knew him. Still, you didn't put it in your report that you offered to call law enforcement, but she refused. Why not? Flora says she said no, so there was no reason to include it. Still, you said you put Mr. Combs against the wall. That's aggressive, isn't it? Flores, it could be, but I only put my forearm against his chest. Still, but you didn't put that in your report. Flores, you're asking me to have to put more details in my report. Mr. Steele, do you remember the layout? Flores, no, just a corner room. Still, was it a normal hotel room? Like I would stay in just one room? Or did it have a living room? Mr. Flores, I don't know. Still, the third party, you said it was on a bed? It was a pullout. Flores still says you were in the hospitality business as well as security, right? Flores says yes. Still says, Mr. Combs, it was clear to you that he wanted to pay for the damage, right? Assistant U.S. Attorney, objection called for speculation. Judge asked in a different way, says, still, it can be embarrassing for a guest. Assistant U.S. District Attorney says, uh, objection, judge sustains it. Still, one moment, nothing further. Judge redirect. So here's the attorney. Assistant U.S. Attorney says, did you typically include every single detail in the report? No. Did he seem drunk or high? No. When he offered you money, what did he say? That he didn't want anyone to know about it, pretty much. Which way was Mr. Combs dragging Cassie? Flores, back toward the room. Assistant U.S. Attorney, nothing further. Judge recross. Still, there are motion sensitive cameras, so there are gaps, right? Flores, yes. Still, nothing further. Next judge, next witness. What did Miss Ventura pay you for? Hold on. Next witness, judge says. Assistant U.S. Attorney Comey, what does Miss Ventura pay for pay you for a witness to have S with her. Sean Combs was there too. The witness. I guess we don't have the name. My boss called me and said he couldn't find any of our black dancers, so I go to a bachelorette party. Could I go to a bachelorette party in the Gramercy Park Hotel in downtown Manhattan? U.S. Attorney Comey, what did you expect to do? A little stripper dance, he said. The male stripper. She was in the hotel room in a red wig, stockings, and glasses. She gave me a few $100s. Assistant U.S. Attorney Comey was what was the room like? Male dancer, red couches, astroglide, and that lubricant. There was a man on the right side of the room, a male dancer. The man had a white robe and a bandana over his head. Below his face, a baseball cap. From his voice, I recognized him as Sean Combs. Camouflaging. U.S. Attorney Comey, what did he say? The male dancer says that he was into importing and exporting. He was pulling a George. Oh Lord, Georgie. Export, import. So the male dancer, he said he was having problem with my boss. Defense objection, Assistant U.S. Attorney Comey. I'll get back to that. After the S was over, what happened? The male dancer, Cassie, gave me a couple of $100 more. The male dancer, he said to give them Cassie called me and asked for a photo. Creepy. U.S. Attorney called me, then what? The male dancer. She called me to go back. I did for a few hours and then a few times after that. Assistant U.S. Attorney Combs always present. Yes. Miss Comey, any other location? Dancer, Essex House, a 56th Street residence, I believe 210 at the time, and at her residence in West End Avenue, I think. Assistant Attorney, what name were you to say when you were there to see? Male answer, black. Male answer, I would send her a vulgar text messages. Assistant Attorney, like what? You want me to say it? He says. Attorney goes, give me an example. Male answer, I said, I want to right now. Assistant Attorney, how often did you use baby oil? Every time. Male answer, Sean Combs said he didn't have enough baby oil on. He said, y'all slow down, separate from each other like a producer. One time he tried to have us a role play like we had just met at an airport. We weren't good, so we skipped that. Assistant Attorney says, what direction did Combs give you? Mr. The Male says he'll tell me to step off and back off. Comey, how many times, if any, were you told to you on Miss Ventura? Defense Xavier, objection, subjective, judge overruled. Male, they told me not to do it all at once. Objection to him saying they. I've got it, Judge. Assistant U.S. Attorney, what happened? A male dancer, they leave me waiting for hours. The whole thing might go for 10 hours, the male dancer. They were handed to the Essex hotels. They were headed to the Essex hotels. They said to go in 30 minutes. It was the first time he opened the door as himself, dressed in a suit, no mask. Gomi says, how did things change? Male dancer. He didn't feel Combs Donaldson's objection. U.S. Attorney. Who, if anyone, recorded? Male dancer. Mr. Combs with cell phone and camcorder. He took a photo of my driver license for insurance. He said, Combs Donaldson's objections. Judge focus it. U.S. Attorney, what did you understand? He was threatening me. Male dancer, once I went and Cassie was slumped over. He said, it's not going to happen this time. U.S. Attorney, did Mr. Combe offer you drugs? The dancer says, Molly, I guess it's called. I don't do drugs. MDMH. I think I went out and handed out hundreds. I think I went out and handed out $100 bill. Assistant U.S. Attorney, how did the Molly make you feel? The dancer, sick and euphoric, and like an idiot, handing out $100 bills. Comey, who else was present? Male dancer, a guy who told me that he was an actual escort. He was having S with Cassie at her apartment. Male dancer, this guy was like looking at Sean Combs, and Combs said, don't be F looking at me. Combs Donaldson's objection. Judge, let's get a fresh question. Assistant Attorney, what did he look like? The male dancer, black guy, kind of skinny. We exchanged numbers. Call me. Have you seen him in 10 years? Male dancer, no. Did it ever seem you were not the first person there? Yes. Half of us astroglide. Yes. Half used astroglide. Towel on the floor. After $100 bill, did you see them again? Male dancer, I couldn't do it anymore. Assistant U.S. Attorney Comey, what did you get paid when you couldn't perform? Male sex, nothing, but I never asked for money. I was happy to get involved with people with much notoriety. But after I saw Sean Combs hit Cassie, I couldn't do it anymore. Blech. Not fun anymore. Assistant U.S. Attorney Comey, what was Combs saying as he met Cassie? The male dancer, he said, bitch, when I tell you come over, you come over. I didn't know what to do. Did you intervene? She asked. The dancer is like, no, I knew that the chances that they were bodyguards. Objection, sustained. Attorney Comey, what next? Male dancer, he said, aren't y'all ready to continue? He said, Assistant Attorney, did you try Male dancer? I don't recall. Attorney, U.S. Attorney, did you see them again? Male dancer, I thought I had developed some sort of a friendship with Cassie. I may have been speculating. Male dancer, I went there. I heard him slapping her. He walked out in a towel. She ran to me. I asked, why are you staying with this guy? Combs Donald's objection. Judge ground her say overruled. She said it was okay. U.S. Attorney, nothing further. Judge breaks before cross. And I am going to leave it here because we're going to finish the rest. Tomorrow, I should say. This is who Judge Mr. Philip. You're still under oath. Yeah, yeah, because it's about an hour and 10 minutes. Yes. Hey, hi, whoever's here. You guys want me to continue on a little bit, or should we take a break for the day? Let me know. Let me just continue on a little bit here. Judge Mr. Philip, are you still under oath? Call Xavier Donaldson. Let me show you a text message chain between Cassie and between you and Cassie. Is it accurate? Daniel says yes. Donaldson, you were working for a service. Daniel Philip, a male review show. Donaldson says, you were a manager, male stripper from women? That's Donaldson. Daniel says, yes. Donaldson, prostitute or prohibited? Philip, that is correct. Was prohibited. Your job was to build it up. Yes and no. I'll go with yes. Objection sustained. Combs Donald. So did the company open a fake business into to optimize search result? Daniel Phillips. Fake addresses. It was just SEOs. Donaldson. When you went to optimize the ladies' experience, Phillips says. I have no idea what you mean. It's just our slogan. Combs Donaldson. Cassie told you to say the name Black. Daniel says yes. Donaldson, your boss told you someone wanted a black man stripper. Yes. Donald said, let me show you. Assistant distributor. This shouldn't be put on. The screen. Donald said, take it off, take it off. Combs. She was wearing a wig. Yes. She handed you money. She handed me 4,000. Before any Europe correct. She had on heels, Philip and dark glasses. Donaldson, where the money come from? Her hand. Cone Donaldson, you were wearing a New York City Police Department uniform, right? I brought it. I bought an NYPD T-shirt. Donaldson, you took the oil off. You took the oil off in front of Cassie. The oil, no. I took my clothes off. She said it was my birthday. Combs Donaldson. It appears she is enjoying herself. Daniel, yes. What was your position, Philip? Missionary? I was like, did that just happen? Then Donaldson says, she asked you for photos. Philip, I do not know if Sean Combs asked for it. Ignore that, Judge, he says. Judge, we'll pick up here tomorrow. Okay, so that was there. Okay, so the mail. Okay. So this is from Inner City Press. I encourage you guys, if you want to, he has the compilation of the week on his Google books. So I will be reading this tomorrow and we'll continue on. And let me just see, what else did we see here? Let me see if I have that open. No, Copilot. Let's see if that was open. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna end it here for the night. I want to say thank you for joining me on the reveal. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do this 7 o'clock and we'll follow through from here. Recap all last week's with the Inner Circles review. In the meantime, we're waiting for the court to send the transcripts. Somehow they're not publicly available. But what do you want? That is life. So, with that, have a lovely night. See you tomorrow. Same tube time and same tube
La
channel.
lumière danse dans ses yeux, quelques chants secrets en lieu. Chaque matin un nouveau mystère, mademoiselle vit sans frontières. Les rues murmurent des contes d'ombre, elle marche comme un rêve sombre. Tous les jours un chapitre écrit, des légendes que le jour nie. Oh Madem-Oiselle raconte la saga, les histoires que personne ne voit. Dans la nuit tu dévoileras les secrets cachés sous ta soie. Un sourire garde des énigmes, des mots doux aux limites abîmes. Elle joue avec le quotidien, transformant tout ton destin. Les reflets cachent des vérités que personne ne peut interpréter. Dans son regard mystifié, un monde entier à déchiffrer. Oh Madem-Oiselle raconte la saga, les histoires que personne ne voit. Dans la nuit tu dévoileras les secrets cachés sous ta soie. Un sourire garde des énigmes, des mots doux aux limites abîmes. Elle joue avec le quotidien, transformant tout ton destin. Les reflets cachent des vérités que personne ne peut interpréter. Dans son regard mystifié, un monde entier à déchiffrer. Un monde entier à déchiffrer. Oh Madem-Oiselle raconte la saga, les histoires que personne ne voit. Dans la nuit tu dévoileras les secrets cachés sous ta soie.